Okay, people, welcome back to the Boostly podcast. This is the podcast that gives hosts the tools, the tactics, the training, and most importantly, the confidence so you can go out there and get yourselves more direct bookings. We do a mini series on this podcast where we dive behind a successful and interesting host, and sometimes we welcome them back as well to give us an update. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We've got the amazing Josh Goldstein. He is all the way from California in the USA. And we had him on last year where we were talking about various aspects of short-term rental challenges and things like that. He mentioned he had started a fund, and we're getting an update on what he's been doing and also things which are going on in his world. So I'm really excited to dive into his world again and yeah, share with you that update. So welcome along, Josh. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
So can you give yourself an introduction to you and your business and where your properties are located?
Sure. Yeah, I basically started learning about real estate. Um, I don't know, probably 2017, and dove into podcasts and books and webinars and started going to meetups and as much as I could, and I was in analysis paralysis for a while, and brought me around. I did actually make several offers, but backed out over minuscule amounts of money, which I learned now may not have been the best choice, but it's okay. It was my dream. And then in 2020, I pulled the trigger on my first properties, which was a long-term rental in Kansas City, Missouri. But then shortly after that, I found the short-term shop with Avery and listened to her podcast on Bigger Pockets, and kind of contacted her and started buying cabins in Smoky Mountains, Tennessee, and kind of grew to a portfolio of 11 short-term rentals, five of which are still being renovated, which I'm very close to being done, and that's exciting because I want to get those off the plate of sucking money versus gaining money. And then I have nine long-term rentals. And then the newest addition is, as you mentioned, the fund. We actually acquired a hotel, which is 76 keys in Bentonville, Arkansas. So that's a different process and different things to look for, and kind of different strategies, but it's fun, and yeah, much bigger. So it's nice to grow.
What you did before this is it's an interesting sort of career that you've had before this as well.
And yeah, you use past tense, but I actually still currently do it. So I'm a producer. I do commercials mainly, but I've done some movies, I've done some documentaries, I've done tons of music videos, TV show I worked on a long time ago, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a job I really like. So I'm not the investor that's looking to get out of his job. It's more I want to supplement, and since I'm freelance, be able to say no to, you know, however many projects in a row and go on a trip with my family, and have a little bit more freedom. So that was kind of the ultimate goal for me. And I love it and have been growing, and trying to push it as much as possible. So we'll see where it leads. But as of now, I'm not looking at stopping my current job because I do actually enjoy it quite a bit.
What we'll concentrate on is your the journey that you've gone on because you've gone from that first property as you mentioned. What has led to the changes in then going, well, hang on, if we get a fund together and then let's go for a hotel instead of just sticking to short-term rental? What's the aspiration behind that?
Well, with everything that we learned, and my three other business partners, we each came from short-term rentals. Some of my other business partners have done boutique hotels before. We wanted to create something where other investors could join in. It is also a bit of an education thing if they do want to be involved and like look over our shoulders a little bit and ask questions and have access to all four of us. It's a thing that they could do. And kind of learn hotels on their own because it is different. There's similarities for sure. You're in the customer service business, but it's a different asset. So you have to treat it differently. You can't. I mean, I guess if it's small enough, you could treat it as individual rooms and Airbnb, short-term rental, direct booking, however you're going to list it. But it's 76 keys, so that's someone on site all the time, cleaning people on site all the time, maintenance people on site all the time. And the systems are totally different. Right now, we're in a franchise agreement with Wyndham. And it was in that agreement when we bought the hotel. We negotiated at the purchase that we would keep it for 12 months. And we already in the purchase paid out the cancellation costs because if you break a franchise, there's going to be cancellation costs. So after 12 months, it gets broken because we've already paid it, and then we can renovate and rebrand it as our own, use our own systems. Right now, we have to use the internal Wyndham booking systems and stuff like that. So right now, we're a little bit handcuffed, but I gotta say, it's a budget hotel. It's booked all the time. It's still making money, so it's not that bad. Like from day one, we just took over the systems that were already in place and started making money. And we fixed up some things, so we're like spending the money on the hotel and improving it. But the real change is going to come when we break that franchise and kind of improve the rooms and make it more than a low budget stay.
What is the plans, if you don't mind me asking? Then
Sure.
how is things going to change?
Yeah. So right now, it's a microtel by Wyndham, and I don't know if you or the audience is familiar with that, but it's just a very basic hotel room with not many amenities, and there's not much design. You kind of have to stick within the box that they tell you. This is the furniture you can buy from us or from our, like our dealers and stuff like that. Whereas, we come from short-term rentals and we like to push the limit of design. We like good furniture. We like a little bit more luxurious things. So we're not allowed to do that with the current rooms, even though we did take a couple of rooms offline and we're doing test renovations. And so basically what that means is we'll go in there and we're going to design it how we see all the rooms are going to look. And that's, maybe a design wall on the back. And we did do it. We did like wood slats behind the bed. We did nicer beds. We took out the carpet. We put in LVP. We're updating the bathrooms. We're updating the furniture so that when you go in there, yes, it's still the same box, it's still the same structure, which is not that old of a building. So structurally, it's fine. It's just the look of it is not great. But now when you go into these newly renovated rooms, people will be a little bit more wowed when they look at the pictures, when they look at the overall thing, they'll be a little bit more wowed. And on top of that, we're going to start to bring some amenities. We have extra land on, around the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've discussed building some pickleball courts. We've added, a breakfast bar where, guests can come down and participate in, better breakfast than, like I think they had like a little grab and go section, but we're improving that. We're going to do a little area for food trucks. We're just going to make it more appealing and kind of the overall experience, just elevate it so that we could charge more and boost the value of the entire asset.
For everybody listening, how can we find out more? How can we come and check out your brand or come follow you on your socials? What would you like to
Sure.
promote?
On Instagram, Bunkhouse Worldwide is my company name and the handle. Email, it's josh@bunkhouseworldwide.com. And yeah, I mean, Instagram is probably the best way to kind of follow along progress of things. As soon as I finish those 5 cabinets, I'll be posting some more updates about that. And yeah, you could reach out via email and let me know if you have any questions or comments or whatever.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you too for listening to this on the Boostly podcast.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Boostly podcast. Boostly like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.